That down. Let's move on to this, shall we? You know, everybody is talking about and everybody is very excited about the new Christopher Nolan film, The Odyssey. They played a little sizzle for it in theaters and IMAX screens for people to see. I don't think they've dropped it online yet, have they?
No.
Yeah, they still haven't put that online yet. I'm sure it's going to come at some point. It'll be out pretty soon. But apparently the movie is not without its controversy. A new headline in Deadline reads, Christopher Nolan accused of fueling quote-unquote brutal repression by filming The Odyssey in occupied Western Sahara. If you're saying to yourself, occupied Western Sahara, you're not alone. I didn't know the Western Sahara was being occupied either. And I certainly didn't know it was being occupied by Morocco. This is what the article reads.
College students aren't protesting this brutal occupation.
Yes. Christopher Nolan has been criticized for shooting elements of Universal's all-star epic The Odyssey in Morocco-occupied Western Sahara. The decorated British director has been filming near the coastal city of Dakhla, which is part of a region that the United Nations has designated as a non-self-governing territory since 1963. The territory, which has become a magnet for big budget shoots like the Amazon series, The Wheel of Time, is not legally a part of Morocco, but the US and UK are among Western governments to recently endorse the North African nation's claim over the land. Now, I'm going to continue reading this on a little bit at length because this is really interesting to me. The Western Sahara International Film Festival, also known as FI Sahara, which takes place in the Sahrawi, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that, refugee camps in Algeria, called on Nolan to urgently halt shooting in the region. Universal has been contacted for comment. They said this, Dakhla is not just a beautiful location with cinematic sand dunes. Primarily, it is an occupied, militarized city whose indigenous Swahili population is subject to brutal repression by occupying Moroccan forces. I didn't even know there was such thing as Moroccan forces until we got into this. The festival said, by filming part of The Odyssey in an occupied territory billed as a news black hole by Reporters Without Borders, Nolan and his team, perhaps unknowingly and unwillingly, are contributing to the repression of the people by Morocco. So basically they're saying, listen, we believe, it goes on to say, I won't read it all at length, but it goes on to basically say, the film festival is saying, listen, we think if Christopher Nolan really knew what was going on here, and if he understood what was happening here, we think he would pull out and not shoot there. All right. This raises an interesting question that comes up every once in a while in different sorts of contexts. It can maybe even be thrown under the larger category and umbrella heading of like separating art from the artists, or, you know, when does the art come into play and when does politics come into play, and all that kind of stuff. On the one hand, my thought goes to, listen, Christopher Nolan is not an international diplomat. He is not a member of any government. He is not a part of any political affiliation. He is an artist making a movie, making art, and there's a piece of earth somewhere that suits the background for his art for him to go and tell his story.
That already is a production hub.
As mentioned in the article, others have used it.
And the UK and the United States have officially recognized the government.
Right. The UN has not.
No.
And so there's the one hand of that. On the other hand, you have the people who actually live in the area saying, listen, this is a news black hole. Nobody talks about it. Again, I didn't even know this political situation existed. I really didn't.
Me neither.
And I watch news every day and I didn't know about this. So they're saying what is happening here in our area is brutal. And the people there have no freedom. They're not even allowed to make their own films telling their own stories. We are living under occupation.
But there's a film festival in a refugee camp.
Outside of it. Yeah, that's because they're trying to bring, you know, life and bring stuff there. So Javier Bardem, Salma Hayek have all come out and spoke out on their behalf as well with this film festival. And again, they're not taking an attacking tone on Christopher Nolan. We say, we just don't think Christopher understands what's going on here. We think he is unwillingly and unrealizingly contributing to this. And we think if he really understood this and knew this, we think he wouldn't want to shoot here. So I'm in two minds on this. Like,
Right.
on the one mind, I try to put myself in the shoes of the people who live there, a plight of which I've never even known about. And on the other hand, the big machine, because listen, it's art, but having a production like the Odyssey is a massive machine. What is it he says in Succession? I'm trying to steer an oil tanker. That's what it's like trying to make one of these big budget films. So I am sitting here now, honestly, I don't know what to think. I honestly don't. Like, I haven't ruminated with this long enough to really form any kind of opinion, but I do see it's a dilemma. I see this as an awkward situation. And if Christopher Nolan were to call me right now, as he often does, and say, John, did you see about this Western Sahara thing? I say, yeah, Chris, looks rough. What do you think I should do? I don't fucking know. I honestly, I don't know. I financially, it might be too late to do anything about it. I mean, something like this is something that should have probably been brought to light prior to shooting starting, once it became known that he was going to shoot there. But I think at this point, here's what I think shakes out, Rob. And I'm not saying this is what I think should happen. This is the way I think it shakes out. I think Christopher Nolan's going to finish this shoot. They're going to finish this movie. And then I think some point, I think he's going to lend his voice to the same voices of like Javier Bardem and say, listen, had we known about this, but I mean, we couldn't stop at this point, but this is an important matter. So I think they're going to finish the shoot and then probably add his name to the roll call of people speaking out against it. I mean, I don't really know. And Rob, you're hearing about this. Christopher Nolan gives you a call, says, Rob, you've advised Bob Iger very well over the year at your racquetball games.
Yeah. Going to Jeffrey's in Malibu.
He told me I should give you a call. What do you think we should do about this situation? How should we resolve this?
Well, first of all, I would say that, when a Hollywood production comes to a local place, it infuses a lot of money into the local population, and they hire a lot of locals, perhaps as construction workers. There's a lot of economic benefits to when Hollywood comes a-calling. Another added benefit to that is we're all liberal coastal elites, John. And when we get involved in causes, there's no better way to get, Hollywood liberal libtards out there speaking out about a cause. So we're all going to talk about it and be like, there's repression here. Like you and I, we didn't even know Morocco was occupying this land. So I think in the long run, you have in the short term, there's a gain there that I think a lot of the population in that area benefits from the economics of having a Hollywood production come to town and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Or millions
of dollars, hiring local labor, buying food, doing whatever they need to do. And the added benefit of some of the most visible people in the world, the most well-known people in the world, who may suddenly take up your cause, who, like us, probably knew nothing about this, because they're going, Christopher Nolan's, he's looking around with his locations manager. Where can we shoot this scene? They're not doing geopolitical, let's talk about the political situation in this country going back years. They're only thinking about where can they shoot, where have there been shoots before that are used to having productions come in that we can have. It's like when we went and produced Hills Run Red in Bulgaria. I didn't know, Bulgaria, former Soviet satellite state, had a very vibrant production entity in Bulgaria. A lot of great people, knew how to make movies. They've got multiple studios there, New Boyana, UFO, and it was a great place to go. And I wouldn't have known that. So I think that ultimately it can only benefit. There's many benefits that they will have in addition to helping the local economy, but they'll get the word out about this and maybe things will change. Especially because Morocco, I didn't know this either, but when we made Tango Shalom, I didn't know there was a Islamic comedy film festival in Rabat, Morocco. Who would have thought? They're film friendly there. And who knows, maybe Hollywood will do some good here.
Yeah, again, like any money going into the area, though, I'm pretty sure the Moroccans are probably just taking it. But like, this is the one. Well,
you still have to pay people.
Yeah, this is the one comment that came in here from the article that I thought was pretty interesting. It wrote this: Morocco routinely touts soirée, again, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that word, cultural expressions as uniquely Moroccan. They created a film festival in Dakhla to counter ours and produce high-quality, high-budget films that portray Western Sahara as a part of Morocco, something, again, that the UN does not recognize. However, Swahiris trying to make films about their lives are persecuted and must work clandestinely and at great risk to themselves and their families. So again, this is something as somebody who lives very comfortably in North America.
Yes.
This is something and doesn't pop on my local news or whatever, or any of the trades that I've read. This is all news to me. Yeah. And I got a feeling at some point Christopher Nolan's probably feeling the same way. It's going to be interesting to see how this works out. Question is for you guys. What do you think about this? I guess there's two questions here. What do you think should be done, and what do you think will ultimately happen? I haven't formulated an opinion yet. I don't know enough about this to have an opinion about what should be done. What I think will happen, I think they're going to finish the shoot, and then Christopher Nolan will probably make some pretty strong statements or something. I don't know. Whatever you guys think about all this, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.